Hi, it's Mrs. B, Brenda. This is my day 82 of my carnivore challenge, and I'm still doing okay. I've not really lost any more weight. I have, I'm starting to feel better from my cold, and that makes me feel better all around, even with the carnivore, because I know when I wasn't sick with a cold, the carnivore lifestyle was really helping my head be clearer, and I just felt better. And I'm starting to have that clarity again, but it's not completely there. I've still got congestion. Uh, but I am getting better. My husband, on the other hand, I think is getting worse. And he's supposed to take me to have my surgery in 2 days, and I don't think he's going to be up to it. Now, he is arguing with me that he's going to do it even if he has to sit in the uh, vehicle the whole time, which I just don't want that to happen. And I have other people that could take me, but I think, he loves me. We've been married 51 years, and he wants to be there for me. And that means a lot, but it means a lot to me that if he's not feeling well, that he just stay home. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. Uh, I have been watching more videos again about the carnivore lifestyle, and I ran across one earlier. It was 5 Minute Body. Marina had Dr. Anthony Chafee on with her, and he was giving the top 10 mistakes people make when they're starting carnivore. So I am going to link that video down below. So if you would like to watch them discuss this, I'm just going to go over the top 10 that he gave. And also I will mention of these top 10 what I personally have been doing wrong. So the first mistake is people don't eat enough. I don't think that was my problem when I started. There's a few times I think it may have been a problem more lately, but I changed that as of yesterday. So I'm picking up and eating more again. Um, we are basically trained to, if you're overweight at all, that you have to eat a certain small amount of food, and you've got to count your calories. And even on keto, I believe you're supposed to count macros. I never did because I just couldn't do keto. It didn't, my head just didn't get all the macros and stuff. And I think I was bombarded with too many, to be honest, recipes of food that I didn't normally eat. So it just wasn't for me. For some reason, I don't know why, I couldn't get it down as easy as I have the carnivore. But the carnivore is so simple, just so simple. Now you can hunt for recipes with it also, but it's all the same. You're still using the beef. You're not adding kale and I don't know, just different things. I didn't do so. Um, you have to eat enough. Okay, but that's not a major thing on mine, but I have made that mistake a time or two. Number two is you don't eat enough fat. That's me. I know I don't eat enough fat. I started out decent, and then I started trying to get a stick of butter a day, and I was doing really well. Then I think I tried to do a little more, and I kind of got nauseous on it, and just decided, oh, no, I can't do it. So I kind of stopped doing it for a while. And then I tried again, and I just never got back to it until the last couple of days, probably, I've been better, much better. And to be honest, uh, the food, my husband bought 93% lean hamburger meat. Well, we've got to use it up. But my goodness, it is so dry. You have to add something. So adding butter to that was not a bad, it wasn't hard to do. But then I wondered if I added enough, because I think I had about a half a stick with it just to make it moist enough to eat. And so getting your fats in is extremely important. It's going to keep you satisfied, and it makes things taste better, to be honest. I never would have thought I'd put butter on hamburger meat. I've put it on steak before cooking it, but I've never ate it with like a piece of butter on each little bite. And I thoroughly enjoy that. And now that I've been doing it on the hamburger meat, I feel the exact same way. And back to the number one about not eating enough, to know that you're eating enough, they say, and I've heard it time and time again, um, you need to eat till you're comfortably full and then a little more. And the more you get used to it, your body will tell you. Same thing with the fats. Your body will tell you you're done. It will become, it makes it taste better. And then after a while you're eating, all of a sudden your body will tell you, no, I think I've had enough. And you get to where you just don't want to eat it. And so you don't want to force yourself to keep eating if it's like, oh, I just don't like this. So you don't want to force yourself, because your body is telling you, I've had enough fat. So that's a good barometer about how much to eat or how much not to eat. You know, it may take you a while. If you haven't been getting enough fat, it may take you a while to get to that point, but it will come. I remember that when I was doing the butter and I got too much, but I forced myself, and then I was just, no, I don't want no more. And I couldn't make myself bring it back. So you don't want to get to that point. So if your body's telling you, nah, I just don't want it, and you just kind of don't force it. Their body's going to be telling you you've had enough to eat, and had enough fat. The third thing on Dr. Chapey's list is coffee. Don't drink coffee. You don't want to be drinking coffee. It is not animal. And you don't want the caffeine that is in there either. It is bad too. And I'm thinking that may be a big problem of mine, because I have a cup of coffee, maybe two, even up to three in a day. You know, I'll have one every morning. Every once in a while, I'll have 2 cups in the morning. Now, it's just black coffee. I've had a time or two that I put some uh, heavy whipping cream in it, but mostly it's just black. But I have one, sometimes two in the morning, and then I got to where sometimes in the evening I liked a cup of coffee, and now I did get decaf. Now I have to admit, I think last night I had a cup of coffee last night, and it was not decaf. So that may be a big thing. Part of my problem with not losing weight is I'm drinking coffee. I'm going to stop. I am going to stop drinking coffee. We'll try for a while and see if that makes a difference. If it doesn't, then I may bring it back. But at the same time, I'm thinking, why? You know, uh, I remember back when I did not drink coffee, and then I started drinking coffee. I never liked sweet coffee. Didn't like it. Back when it was just add the cream and sugar. My husband, he piled the sugar in, and I don't think he used cream back then. He just used sugar, and I tried to drink it like it. I could not. I just couldn't stand the sweet. I don't like sweet tea either. That's me. I'd rather just have them unsweet. And so the coffee, I did that. Now, for a while, it used to tear my stomach up. It got to where it tore my stomach up. So I started putting a little of his, he used Coffee Mate, the French vanilla Coffee Mate. So I started putting a little bit of that in, and I got putting a little bit more because it started tasting so good. But my stomach never hurt when I did that. And of course, then when I started the carnivore, I stopped putting the creamer, the Coffee Mate creamer in there. I would put a little bit of heavy whipping cream in it once in a great while, but I wasn't that fond of that. I did start out changing from the Coffee Mate to putting heavy whipping cream and some French vanilla syrup, sugar-free syrup, and something else. Oh, a little bit of cinnamon extract in it. And I was drinking that, and then I realized, oh, I'm putting that fake sugar in it because that's what that sugar-free syrup had in it. So I stopped that quite a while back, and so now I've been drinking just black coffees almost since the beginning. I didn't do it for very long, as far as adding all that other stuff to it. So I'm still guilty of the caffeine. So that's one thing I'm going to try not to do. Number 4 is using any sweetener at all. Other than the coffee I was just telling you about, I don't do that. I don't add any sweeteners. I don't use any artificial sweeteners. I've never been real big on artificial sweeteners at all because I've always felt like, to be honest, that they were worse for you than um, regular sugar. And I couldn't have the regular sugar, so I just wasn't going to have any. Um, Now, there are many, many people that will argue with me on some of those, like, is it mung fruit, and I think there's another kind of artificial sweetener that people will argue with you that it's still good. Well, I just figure if it's man-made at all, just stay away from it. Now, I don't know if those are or not. And the monk fruit, we know fruit has sugar in it, and that sugar's not good for you. So I'm going to stay away from even the monk fruit. So that's not been a problem of mine. It might be a problem of yours if you're on some kind of a stall. Okay. Number 5. Number 5 is having a perfection mindset. That if you mess up, you are done. Well, you know, I've messed up several times, and I've told you that I've got right back on the carnivore, and this is one time I've never done that before. Before, if I cheated, I was done, just done. And then it was harder and harder to come back, start that diet all over again. So this one, it's been a mindset. It's not, I was ready. I think it's kind of like someone that smokes and they decide to quit and they go cold turkey. That's what this is to me. We are addicted. I am addicted. I am addicted to food. I know we have to have it to live, but I'm addicted to the flavor and to the comfort of it. Um, and as a grandmother, I have found myself, I want to feed my family. When they come over, I want to have all this good stuff for them. And when the grandkids come over, the great grandkids come over, oh, here, you want this cookie? You want want this pudding. We're just so bad about doing that. And so food traditionally, in probably many, uh, what am I trying to say? Cultures, it's a comfort thing. It's a family thing. That's when you gather together and you're talking. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's a loving feeling. It's a comforting feeling. And how do you break a lifetime of that? I don't know. As far as family, as far as me personally, I'm there. I'm like, I see stuff, and I see even my family eat something. I'm thinking, oh, you don't know how bad that's for you. And I say it sometimes, and sometimes I don't, because I don't want to be that kind of person that they don't want to have around, because that's all you talk about. So anyway, back to the perfection mindset. I think I was there when I decided to do this. Something clicked, and I'm doing it. Even if I'm not perfect with it, I'm getting right back on and being good. I say being good. What would another term be besides being good? I'm committed. I am committed. You can be committed to something, and like, oh, I'm going to get up early at a certain time every day, and then sometime you sleep in, but you get right back to doing it the next day. That can still be a commitment, I believe. Anyway, so that's me. To me, you make a conscious decision, and I know Auntie has done this. I don't believe she's cheated on this. She may have, but I don't think she has. And with her I know for a fact she chooses to eat this way because she doesn't want to be in pain. And the pain thing is a huge, huge thing. There's so many testimonies out there about how eating carnivore has taken the pain away. And we know a lot of that is inflammation. And when the inflammation goes away, the pain goes away. Well, I too have an autoimmune disease, but my autoimmune disease is not something you feel. It's not painful unless you get a blood clot. And then it's painful, but it's too late. Uh, by the time you have a blood clot, you know, you you can prevent it, but you don't know because you don't feel it unless you have one. So I believe eating this way will also help me not have the blood clots. Hopefully, it just clears out my blood to where I don't have this anymore. So anyway, it's a conscious decision every time. And that's, even on the times that I have cheated, to be honest, it was a conscious decision to eat that baked potato when I was having a dinner with my brother out at a restaurant. I could very well have said no or not ordered it. But you know what? I made that conscious decision to do it, knowing that I would get right back on, which is so odd for me to know I would get back on. And before, I could not have done that. I could not have done that. So it's a conscious decision not to eat it. It's a conscious decision to eat it. Just be aware that if you do, you will pay the price, whether it be in weight gain or the way you feel or pain. Just know when you make that choice to have something that you really shouldn't because it's not carnivore, just know there's consequences. And you make that decision. Do I want to do this or do I not? And weigh it out and make that decision. And it'll get to where you don't have to even make that decision because it's just automatic. That's what you do. You're not going to have it. You're going to stay carnivore. So, but remember, if you make a mistake, it's not that big a deal. Just get back on. It's it's not the end of the world. What's bad is if you don't get back on. So always know that if you don't, it's not going to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. Eventually, you might get to that point. But when you're first starting out, if you have something that is not carnivore, well, just know next time you won't have it. Okay? Okay. Number 6 is sticking with it's basically the same thing. It's not, number 6 is not sticking with a full blown carnivore. There are many things. Not sticking with full blown carnivore, what wouldn't that include? Everything we've said before: not eating enough, not eating enough fat, drinking coffee, using any sweetener, and then the mindset, if you go off, get back on. So all of that to me is included in number 6. And some people, there's a big debate out there about honey. And I was listening, as I said, to Dr. Anthony Chafee, and he said, no, honey is bee vomit. It's not part of the bee. It's not meat from the bee. It's not skin from the bee. It is bee vomit. And he compared it to the cows chewing the cud. They swallow it and spit it back up in their mouth, and they chew it up again, and then they swallow it again. You wouldn't want to eat that. And basically, that is what honey is. And so we don't want to have honey. Okay, there are just a few things that we shouldn't do. Me, look what I did. Those pickles. Well, I knew they were vegetables, but I ate them anyway because they're allowed on keto. Well, that's not strict carnivore. If I want to do carnivore, I got to be strict carnivore. For me, if you don't want to, that's fine. But just know the consequences of it, that things will be slower. This is mostly too for weight loss. I mean, you may feel great and not understand why you're not losing weight, but you feel good, but you feel like it's a failure because you're not losing weight. Well, it all goes hand in hand. You've got to understand what you're doing. And see, that's been my issue, is I've been healthy from it, but I'm not really losing weight. So these things make a difference to me, and I'm hoping they will to you too. The number 7 is dairy. Well, he said, this is kind of funny. He said he had a lot of clients who he had told them they could have dairy on the carnivore. But then he means to use them as a condiment. But some of his people, they're all upset. They come back, well, I'm not losing anything, and I'm eating carnivore just like you said. And well, tell me what you're eating. And they mentioned this, some kind of cheese, and I don't know this kind of cheese, and that's basically all they're eating. And he's like, no, you can't have cheese like it's the meal itself. And I've been guilty of that. Uh, I got this from 5 minute body from Rena. It's this, you wrap this cheese like mozzarella cheese up in some meat, like string cheese in some meat, and kind of cook it. Well, I'll make a meal of just that. Well, there's not enough. That's mostly cheese. That's not a condiment. That's the meal was cheese. I've uh, made the chips out of cheese. I love those chips. I am a chipaholic. I mean, I love chips. So that satisfies that chip need, but it's cheese. It's not being used as a condiment. And you can have a little bit of dairy. You can have a little bit of like sour cream cheese maybe. Um, I don't do any milk. I don't do yogurt, but some people do yogurt. Well, no, it's okay once a little bit, once in a while. It's supposed to be used as a condiment. Now, my husband, on the other hand, you say condiment to him, he thinks ketchup, and he covers everything with ketchup. If he had a salad, he just half a bottle of, well, not really, but it seemed like that on his salads. So you don't go crazy with your dairy, and I think I have. So I don't know if I'm going to cut it out completely, but I am going to cut it down and use it more as a condiment. You said like a couple of pieces of cheese on your hamburger patty. If you have one hamburger patty, one slice of cheese. Two patties, two slices of cheese. And that's basically what I do. So, yeah, I'm bad. I'm guilty on the dairy. Number 8. One of the mistakes people have is they think they're limited, that it is too restrictive. There's lots and lots of meat out there. It's not just beef. It can be if that's what you prefer. There's all different cuts of beef. There's lamb, there's venison, there's buffalo. Buffalo's, I would say, it's probably too lean. Um, I believe you can have any birds. You can have almost, I think, any fish. So there's lots of options out there, and you just need to find what works best for you. And there's lots and lots of recipes. You don't have to be limited. It is not a restrict. Yes, it's restrictive when you want to think of the stuff that you can't have. And that's what he was saying, is that people think of what they can't have. But you need to think of the things you can have instead. It's, once again, it's a mindset. Okay? Number 9. When you first start out, you try calorie counting or portion control, and not on the carnivore. You don't have to portion. In fact, you don't want to limit yourself at all as to how much you eat. Your body tells you how much to eat. Okay? And then number 10 is setting unrealistic goals. What does that mean? I think that encompasses this whole thing. When I started, part of me started, and the majority part of me started because I kept hearing how good it was for autoimmune disease. And part of me started because I want to lose weight. So the two together was just like, great. That is great if it does both of those. And I thought it might be hard, but I was ready for it. I was ready for it. And so I thought that I could lose 30 pounds a month. I honestly did. I thought, that'd be great. And I'll lose this much by this time. It's not worked that way for me. And part of it has been my personal life, having steroid shots and taking steroid by pill. And once again, I've been drinking coffee. I've been having too much cheese. There's all kinds of reasons. And then I went off. But my unrealistic goal was I'd lose all that weight, and also that I would stay on it perfect. That I wouldn't cheat. When I first started it, oh, it was so easy. There was any way I was going to cheat. Well, then I did. So, um, unrealistic goals is that you're going to just be perfect and you're going to lose all this weight all of a sudden. Or say you have psoriasis or eczema and you think it's going to go away in a month. That's unrealistic. It may take several months before you lose weight. It may take several months before, say, you have a eczema. It may take 6 months to a year. I don't know. If that's what you have, check into these videos and see, all of them, everybody, what everybody has to say about it that's on Carnivore, and see, did it take them a long time? Was it immediate for them? That it might have been. We all have different body. The makeup of our body is a little different. Yes, we're the same, but we're still different. So unrealistic goals. I think that's a pretty good summary of what can happen on the carnivore. So once again, these were the top 10 mistakes that people make starting carnivore. Now, I'm on day 82. You know what? I need to change all of these little things. Not all of them, but most of them. There's a lot of that I do. So I'm anxious to see going forward how it changes. Um, I have kind of decided, not kind of, I have decided I am going to do B, and E, beef, bacon, butter, and eggs after my surgery. Uh, and I'm going to do that for probably at least 30 days if I can and see how that does for me. I think that I should be able to do it and also get in all my fats. You know, when I first started out, I was worried about getting all my water in. Well, I'm still doing better with my water. And I need to get my electrolytes back in, I imagine. So, as simple as this is, there's still some things we need to, be aware of. And so I'm really happy that I ran across that video today. I think it's a fairly new video of hers. So I'm going to link it down below, and I would suggest you go watch it. They go into much more detail than I have. And anyway, I just think we all need to share what we see and what we learn on this journey. And I will uh, try to be back tomorrow and let you know how things are going. You have a wonderful day, wonderful week. This is Monday. Yes, this is Monday, April the 24th. April the 24th. So have a wonderful week, and hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.